All right. Welcome to the third installment of World Without Heroes. I'm joined by my special guest.
Hello.
We gotta wait for the usual crowd of characters to make their appearances and show up. And well, I'm a little later than usual. I tried to do this at 12 exactly or 11 o'clock, and there were some circumstances that got in the way earlier, but now I can, I guess, finally show up and speak on these various topics. Um, to address the newest video from the the romance saga. So that was the one that had the thing where the guy said do 500 push-ups a day. I thought that was a joke. I thought that he was like making a gag because I've never heard of someone doing hundreds of push-ups a day, let alone half a thousand. Um, so when Tina said something to him and he responded by doubling down, I was like, oh my God, this person actually believes that I should do something as extraneous as that. People really amuse me. How you doing, James? I'm glad you decided to reappear after missing all of those streams in the past. I'm gonna start doing 500 push-ups to get a day. Well, it's not even just that because he had a whole 4 or 5 different steps. He said do 1.5 miles of running twice a week, cut back on sweets and bread, and then 4 or 5 other things he wants you to eat. You'll see a different person in you. Yeah, one that belongs in the mental asylum if you're going to do all that stuff to maybe get a date.
Yeah, and he said do 500 push-ups. Who does that?
I've never met a single person. I know some people that do exercise, like do push-ups, but I spoke to one of them and they said that they don't even think they could do 500 if you gave them over a week. Like, it's just really weird and extraneous. And like I said, you'll never see any of these people say that the woman has to do any exercising or cutting back or whatever the hell, because they're all perfect in their own way. But see, this is why I said men are set up to fail. You have to jump through all the hoops, and the woman gets to be whatever she wants and accepted for what she is. You're gonna end up looking like Arnold from Terminator. But my thing is, and I want you to understand something. These people offer this advice in a vacuum. And what I mean by that is, even among people that exercise, they have an expectation of you to have other circumstances that prevent you from fully committing to it, as far as like, sometimes people go to school, sometimes they go to work, and they also have bodily conditions. And what this means is that getting somebody to, let's say, walk, for some distance, right? Whatever, one thing. But to tell somebody that every day they need to do hundreds of push-ups, which likely would take several hours, and then on some days double that up with running 1.5 miles, is just incredibly absurd and almost cartoony in the idea that they actually believe a person, a human being, is capable of doing something such as that on a consistent basis just to maybe get a date. I mean, I mentioned that there's a message somebody wrote me a couple of years ago. So before COVID, and this guy said that you should go to the gym every day until you meet a woman, and then after that you still go, but just not as often, not daily. And I was just thinking to myself, what person who goes to school, who works, has the time to go to this building every single day? It's like Johnny Bravo, who is buff, but when he flirts with girls, he gets turned down. With women, he gets turned down. Well, remember, James, when you do this muscle building stuff, no one who has muscles ever gets rejected. That's never happened before. And no one has time for that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know of any period in life prior to COVID where I just could go to the gym every day. Like I was always in school or like I don't get it. Like I really don't understand these people. And my phone's internet is acting up for some reason.
Mine isn't.
I don't know why it's doing that on my end. It sucks because I have to. I was trying to do a stream without having to put on my glasses to read what he's saying, but looks like I won't be able to. I don't know. Technology is just a really weird thing. It acts weird, and sometimes it acts normal. Oh, I accidentally clicked this thing. Or whatever. It is what it is. That's why I said I think the romance stuff more than any other topic dehumanizes men because I've never seen another topic where people expect so much effort out of you for so little. Like if I went on here and I said for a woman to get a man to like her, she needs to do half 1,000 push-ups a day and run over 150 miles a year, people would say I was a lunatic. But when these absurd requests are made of me or some other man, it's considered normal.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
No, it's just double standards, all right.
Yeah.
Where you have to do something but somebody else doesn't.
Mhm.
So because you're a male, you have to have a whole bunch of money. You have to have whatever they consider status to be, and you also have to have some. They call it a physique where you're like muscular and whatnot.
Mhm.
But what does the woman have to have? She can be poor if she wants to. She can never exercise, and she's still considered like on your level. You've done all this stuff to supposedly improve yourself, and this woman's done nothing, but she supposedly gets to pick and choose if you're good enough for her.
Mhm.
So you have to jump through all these hoops, but the woman doesn't have to.
Yeah.
How fair is that?
Not at all.
I've had problems with it recently too. I think I need a new router. Yeah, technology is really just awful. Yeah, that comment was left right as I was making that video. I saw that comment, and if it had just been that first comment by itself, because I thought again it was a joke that he was writing, I wouldn't have paid any attention to it. But I came back and he doubled down. I was like, really? Like people actually think I'm Goku?
I don't know how.
Well, they must think I'm some kind of superhero if I can do hundreds of push-ups a day.
Fair point. Did anybody send something in the chat?
Yeah, James.
That's it.
Yeah, nobody else has shown up yet. Usually takes them a couple of minutes to appear.
No kidding.
I mean, again, at minimum, I do this for an hour, and then if they don't show up after that, I'm like, all right, goodbye. That guy is delusional. Well, me and my best friend were talking about this on Wednesday night when we spoke to each other that a running gag of romance people and their unrealistic fantasies is that they themselves don't embody the fantasy. So, for example, out of all of the men who have called me hideous on this website or have talked disparagingly about my appearance, a very large majority of them hide their face. Uh, and on top of this, none of them have proven, as they claim to know what to do to get with a woman, that any of them have been successful in getting with a woman. Like for all the paragraphs that they type about what you need to do and all this stuff that you have to change, the recommendations they give, they don't show any proof of having actually given them a different result. They're just opposition to be opposition. I don't even think a boot camp would have you do 500 push-ups a day. Like I said, the thing people always miss about romance and just relationships is that unless it's your boss or somebody that you're forced to see because of some financial obligation like work, you're supposed to enjoy them. Like you're not supposed to look at a bunch of chicks and go, "Oh, great! I can't wait to talk to them," and get rejected over and over, and then have them used as a way to uh, dehumanize me and tell me that I need to fulfill them in 99 different ways by a group of people who, by the way, even if you do the things they tell you to do, are still going to find problems in you because of what the woman decides. That's why in the video I had the Spider-Man panel where he says, "Either way, I just can't win." Because if you do the stuff they tell you to do, another one of them, or possibly even the same computer clown, will condemn you, because you're not with the woman. So they'll still get upset with you because of her decision. And if you don't do the stuff that they want you to do, they say, "Oh, this is the reason you're not with anybody." So you can't win. Your only recourse is for the broad to decide to be with you, which you have no control over no matter what you do. But if I have no control over the decision that she makes, I would rather do things that are not extraneous to get that undesirable result than do these extraneous things with the possibility of getting that same result. I was talking to Bader and he was like creeped out by the fact that men actually sit there analyzing another man's like appearance by like the way that guy did. I told him we need to. So you know how YouTube's the name of the website abbreviated is YT. We need to change it to YMCA, and then they need to have like the letters of YouTube in like rainbow colors from the way that men on this website have. And like again, anytime you apply real world logic to what they do, it doesn't make sense. Like you want to come to me and present yourself as someone who knows how to get with a woman. But why would a person who's with a woman be watching videos that are made about not getting with one? Like I don't understand it. And I even gave the example of how I know how to draw, so I never look up art tutorials because I'm confident of my abilities and I'm satisfied with them. And it's even creepier to me that, like I said, all of the opposition to my position, I didn't mean to make that rhyme, has came almost universally from other men. There are no women on my videos getting mad. I don't want to bother with them anymore. I can't remember the last time I had a woman in my comment section going, "You better do this." It's always other men. Every time. And like I said, I wouldn't have a problem with that if the opposition actually addressed the points I make. 99% of the time, they're just talking about physique and making like weird personality analysis, like they're all psychology majors. And that's weird to me because I've seen videos that women have made where they talk disparagingly about men, like in general. And if they make points that I disagree with, I'll actually address those points. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is this is the like Playboy or some other magazine where we're all evaluating how pretty somebody is. I think it's just because they want to help or give nonsensical. But like this is my thing, right? If somebody doesn't ask for your help, if somebody refuses, I mean, think of what happened in November with the guy that called me mediocre. He starts talking about this gym stuff. I say I'm interested. Instead of leaving like a normal person who's had their advice rejected, he gets into this weird philosophical discussion about why are you content with yourself, and when you die, your influence on other people will stay while your money will disappear. Like, see, that's when it's not about helping somebody, because a person who wants to help another person who finds out that their advice is not wanted would just leave. They wouldn't sit there and then try to antagonize that person, especially when the individual that they're antagonizing has never bothered with them. Like, they create these one-sided feuds because I couldn't give a damn if every single man on this planet stopped talking to women. It has nothing to do with me. And you wouldn't see me in any of their comment sections getting mad at them for making that decision or choosing to keep talking to them even as I think it's a waste of time because it doesn't affect me. So you have these one-sided beefs, I guess, that arise entirely from them. Now, this is not help at all. This is about people trying to make themselves feel better by dragging you through the mud. They have to convince themselves I'm the most hideous person that ever lived, and I have no confidence as they hide their faces, ironically enough, because it makes them feel better about what has occurred here. And like I said, as long as I know that this is happening to dozens of other men at the smallest, and possibly thousands at the most, I'll never believe that I'm just this unique piece of trash. I don't know. People online just like I understand when people argue over, let's say, a movie um, or a show because they form when they watch it like some kind of emotional investment. So then when you have people who are talking trash or disparagingly about it, it makes sense for you to kind of not want to hear that because it's this thing that you like. But you're getting like they get so upset to where they write multiple paragraphs, they try having debates over the love life of a man they've never met and whose decisions have no effect on them. Again, it would be different if it was, let's say, chicks that were like in my comment section getting angry, right? Because at least you could say these are people who, if we're to give me like some kind of credit, would have liked to have dated me, but are upset that I've made this. At least that would make sense. But it's a bunch of men angry at another man for something that has nothing to do with them. Well, like I said, James, that when you have people who speak disparagingly of you, and they try to like do their little diagnosis of your character. Remember, if you're so bad, why is this happening to all these other people? Like if you were so uniquely a poor choice for a partner, right? Why have they done it to me? Why have they done it to all these different men on this website that we've never even spoken to? Why is it occurring in mass? Why do they have these romance groups? Like all of these guys are all just so uniquely trash. That's why there's so many of them. Hell, even people who have been in relationships admit when they get like disenchanted at a certain point that a lot of these chicks do ridiculous or crazy things. So like I don't really understand where you can look at one person and try to psychoanalyze them so much for a problem that's happening with a whole bunch of people. Like out of all the guys that have been turned down that like talk about online, none of them go to the gym. Not a single one. They all wear glasses. They all do videos. At one point they were trying to say, "Oh, well, you do videos. That's why you." It's like all of them do it. Really? So I said people have just suspended all logic and reasoning. They have to convince themselves you're just this unique piece of crap. And it doesn't really work because look at how many people it's affecting. We have 4 people here, only one person commenting.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost kind of glad because you know when you get a bunch in there, you start having people write weird stuff. I just think it was funny when we had the November stream, the last World Without Heroes installment. There was like the guy said, life with only platonic relationships with women is not a life, bro, or something like. And I was like, well, I agree, but I mean, you can't make them attracted to you, even if you do that crap that you're talking about. So why even bother with them? I think the reason why they think you're a bad person is because of other guys that express frustration by not getting a girlfriend and they end up being weird or bad. But this is my thing, right? I did a video where I didn't explicitly title it, but in the video I mentioned how there was a serial killer in California that operated in the 80s, Ramirez, who after he was found to have killed 10 people, which I would think is a bad thing, still ended up getting married. And that there have been multiple serial killers that have operated with their wives being completely unaware that they're doing all this violent stuff. So if being in a relationship inherently means you're not a bad person, why do you have violent people who've had hell? Why do you have spousal abusers or people who do things to their children, like abuse them in different types of ways? I'm not going to get into it because he's right here, but again, like there's I don't know where this idea of your decency as a human being is hinged on getting with a random broad when there are so many violent men who've had girlfriends or wives. Hell, there was a guy in 64 that shot up a school in Texas. He had a wife who he killed before that. Let me see if I can find the name of that shooting in case somebody thinks I made that up. 1964 Texas shooting. The University of Texas the tower shooting. I don't know where it became. You know what I think happened? People like to make fun of someone for not being with a woman. Um, and like they've completely glossed over the fact that there have been a lot of bad people or bad men that have gotten with women. So they try to like make you feel bad for something that even people who have it still turn out being bad. Because like I said, if relationships were always just this very difficult thing for men to do that required extraneous amounts of effort, you would have had these different romance groups 20, 30, 40 years ago, but you didn't. You know, James, at one point you wrote that you didn't believe even if you lived in different eras, you would have gotten with someone or somebody would have liked you back. But again, like, how did my father and grandfather get with somebody if I'm so hideous and all this other crap? How did all these past generations of men get with someone? Was that a fluke over and over, just an accident? That's when they try to come up with an excuse and say that their husband was manipulative or thought they were good. But see, listen, if you want to, if like I give people the benefit of the doubt, right? So let's believe the wives are the ones that did their murders in the dark. They actually did not know, right? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. The one with Ramirez knew because he was in prison when they got married that he killed over 10 people and she still married him anyway. And then only left him when his DNA came back to having molested some little girl. So again, even if we played, being like nice and saying that they didn't know, which I mean, I can believe that because they do sneaky stuff. You still have to factor in the instances where people have expressed attraction to men that do violent things. I just think life is too nuanced for people to like lump all of this big stuff into bubbles and say, oh yeah, all the men that get with women are automatically great and good. All the men that don't get with one are all trash. I don't like that. Because it means that every single broad is perfect, that like all of them make these great decisions. That's when, okay, yeah, I said that, but I believe it still wouldn't happen for some reason. Well, I don't know what the reason is. So I can't, I'm not trying to here to convince you of anything, but I'm just saying that there's a reason these groups didn't exist 30, 40, 50 years ago. I mean, I think this chick stuff is way overblown and very insane and um, really has made people's brains rot. Like I'm just imagining telling myself 10 years ago, you're going to do videos about how ridiculous it is to get a one woman to go on a date, and then it's going to be men that are upset with you for making that. That's why I said it's like imagine saying you're not going to eat at McDonald's anymore, and then getting death threats from Burger King. You better swallow that Big Mac.
Who does that?
No, the point is that you say you're not going to approach women anymore, do anything with them, right? And then men get upset with you, and that has nothing to do with them.
Wow.
That's why I made that comparison. You say I'm not going to eat at McDonald's anymore, and then Burger King starts sending you death threats. I actually lied once since I was in a relationship, so I couldn't be called. I did that one time too when I was in seventh grade. I think I'll make a video on why I've never. Well, I hope that nobody swarms you and tries to like start playing the the nonsense. I think you're not in one because you don't have enough self-confidence. And again, like my thing with confidence is that it boosts your morale, but it still can't make people do the things you want. Just like this year, I said, I'm going to finally finish season 3 of my show. I've currently got a voice actor who said in December she was working on recording some lines who I haven't heard from in 2 months. I've messaged this person like 4 or 5 times in that period, and they just never do it. So even though I had the confidence of saying I'm going to do all the work for my goal to be furthered, because it's still hinged on someone else wanting to do the work that would necessitate me to be able to complete this thing, it still has the likelihood of not occurring. So again, you can believe in yourself all you want, but it can't cause other people to do things that further your goal. Like if I say this year I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers. I could put effort into my videos. I could share them all across this whole goddamn internet. But if people don't want to watch them, if people don't want to subscribe, if people don't want to comment, if people don't want to click buttons or whatever, at a certain point, people just have to accept that there's certain stuff that is not in your control. Like hell, if there's a woman that wants to approach me and I don't find her attractive, she could try as hard as possible to appeal to me and it wouldn't matter. From some random part of California I've never seen before. I'm so tired of getting these phone calls from these automated numbers. And it's always some place you have no connection with. I used to get called from Iowa and Kansas and all these other states. I wouldn't be fazed by those comments because now I realized how stupid it is. I mean, it's just over analyzing on their part. And again, when you want to defend random people you've never met so badly, you have to find 99 flaws in another human being. And confidence only works with a person attracted to you. And sometimes confidence is just, well, listen, you can have all the confidence in the world, but if somebody does not want you, they don't want you. Hell, I used to have one of my subscribers, so come over to my channel and you'll be a Muslim. And I'm like, I'm sure this person believes that I might consider it, but regardless of his confidence in me considering it, I'm not considering. I already know I don't want to go over to his channel. Again, it's good for morale and motivating yourself to do certain stuff. But if that thing you want to do is hinged on somebody else's decisions, you can have all the confidence in the world. It still won't control what this other person decides to do. Oh, they left me a voicemail. Oh my God. I wish people would get to know me before they talk down or talk down on my name, making assumptions. Well, that's the internet in a nutshell. I mean, you gotta understand that when you do your video, you're probably gonna think by the time you're finished with it that you've made some good points, you've articulated your view. But unfortunately, you're gonna notice also if your video gets enough views that a majority of people that oppose your opinion or like don't agree that you should like if you say I'm done like bothering with them, they're going to respond not by addressing why your opinions are invalid by mentioning something that's fact-based, but they're going to go off the emotion of, oh, this person is ugly, oh, they have undesirable personality traits. So to hell with them. If all women are going to be used as a way for people to attack you when you've never done anything to them or done anything that could be considered objectionably evil, what the hell is the point of talking to them? If they're just used as a rope to hang you with, I don't really see the point in putting up with them anymore. But yeah, be prepared for the name calling and all the nasty stuff they're going to say. I just think the internet's so sad because I've seen like actual structured, well articulated conversations between adults on topics before. In real life and online as well. And it's like you think when you get online, the more that people are connected, the better the discussions will be. But it should like I really when I read my comment section sometimes I feel like I'm in second or third grade with little kids. You're going, you're ugly. You probably have a bad personality. Oh, what's that? You've made well constructed points about why you decided to not bother with chicks anymore. Well, I can't respond to any of them.
Dang.
Imagine you did a video and you said, I don't like talking to women because in the past they have tried to steal money from me. They have tried to lead me on, like say, oh, I like you, and then, oh, I don't like you, and you just get sick of it. And then you give all these different examples and show screenshots of them doing this over and over. And then my response to your video is to say, you're ugly.
Dang.
But how does that respond to anything you said?
Yeah.
Or I come on your video and I go, it's time for you to do half a thousand push-ups a day and run 3 miles a week. And then like a woman, you'll be a different person because this woman will like you and then she'll be in love with you.
And no, that's not the topic you're talking about.
Well, I didn't ask for advice. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Man, we've had him just by himself commenting for half an hour. That is crazy.
It's already been half an hour?
Yeah. We got 8 people watching.
8 people watching, but nobody.
8 people watching, 1 person talking.
Yeah. Nobody else decides to talk. Just want to sit in silence.
Damn, I've missed most of the stream. No worries, I'll watch it back when it's done. Oh,
You're watching your own stream on your phone?
well, yeah, so I can read the comments because I can't read them on the computer.
Yeah.
I can't see!
Yeah, you can.
As in, I can't see what they're writing. I can only see the avatar and the text is too small. And I have to make sure they can't see you because then YouTube kids will come and be like, "Oh, there's a child in this. We have to turn the chat off and the rest of the." Hey Megumi, did you like the video on what was that, Wednesday? Either way, I just can't win. Got the most backwards chat ever. They had James doing all the heavy lifting. We could actually take everything that James wrote, and it would probably be like a whole page of a book if it was in like Times New Roman 12 font.
Move the camera. I'm gonna get up to get something.
I sure did. Much respect to that video you put out. Oh, thanks.
Somebody else decided to say something?
Yeah. I believe you should just leave this whole relationship thing behind. Like, just stop making videos about it because it seems nobody will listen to you. You can say anything and it will just get ignored. Yeah, but if somebody else doesn't want to listen to you, so do you just not bother with it if people don't listen? I mean, why should I stop making something that I believe is well constructed because another person responds to it with a non response? Like, why should my wanting to make something be hinged on another person's refusal to address the points that are being made? I just want to know. Hell, sometimes they go on videos that have nothing to do with that topic and they'll mention it on there. So even if I theoretically stop, they would just come and say something about it as well. I've done streams where I was talking about the news and they're like, did you get into a relationship yet? It's like, what does this have to do with anything? Honestly, more and more people need to watch your videos on this topic. Well, I don't pretend that they don't address what I say, but is their refusal to address what I say something that should lead me to not make something that I think should be said? I don't get that. Am I supposed to only do something because another person? Because they do the other videos too, where like I'll do a political video and they'll insult someone or something I said without actually addressing why it was bad. I just don't think people on here should be able to, I guess, influence whether I make something or not. One thing for certain is that the videos are certainly helping some people who struggle or empathize with this issue. I say keep doing you. Well, I just don't get where my willingness to do something should be dictated by another person. Like why should random people on the computer deciding to not address what I say propel me to just shut up about a topic, especially when I know that even if I don't do any about this topic again, they'll still just keep asking me about it. Mm. If someone criticized the dating field, many people seem to be offended because of their own frustrated, unhappy relationship, marriage, or their own single life. Yeah, there's a lot of people that they act like I'm the one who cheated on them or something from the way they type things. I've had like 3 or 4 different comments talking about go see a shrink or professional help or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm not being told to go and talk to a psychiatrist because I beat somebody or um, violate another person in some aggressive, unconsenting manner. I'm told to do this because a woman declined to go on a date with me. Like when you just sit there and think about it, it sounds as obnoxious and ridiculous as it actually is. And hell, if anything, it just reinvigorates my position because um, if somebody like when they make points, I actually address what they're saying, even though they didn't address anything I said. So I just feel more validated about the fact that I can say something that apparently is so hard to dispute that they have to resort to talking about all of this arbitrary crap. Because somebody comes to my video and says you're ugly, there's nothing I can do about that. Like it's just it's a nebulous term. It's something that is not supported by proof because it's just an opinion. But my opinion that they're not addressing what I said is a fact. Wait, you're told to get professional help just for talking about relationships? Yeah, I've had 3 or 4 different comments saying that. I even had somebody just about what was it like this year come on my stream and say maybe seek professional help. Relationships aren't transactional, even though I didn't say that they were. And then that person ended up leaving after they revealed they were a woman, which had nothing to do with what was being talked about. So yeah, they like doing that, playing the mental health, the wannabe psychiatrist game. That's one of their favorite tactics. Go to the gym if you are single and are bored. Go to the gym.
Don't know what that has to do with it.
No, I'm just reading what this guy wrote because I thought it was funny. Women are attracted to strong men physically and mentally, so always go to the gym, especially if you're single. He actually used the wrong version of your, by the way. If you get married, you should still go, but not daily like you were single. I like how there's no gap between being single and going every day and being married but not going daily. Like, that's why I said people have the idolized version of romance where they just think you're going to just get rejected over and over again year after year, and then there's going to be this magic woman who likes you for you and all this other crap, and you live happily ever after, even though there are a whole bunch of couples, they get cheated on and somebody steals something or whatever. It's stupid. The drive-by typing also is very apparent too, it seems. Yeah, where they write comments, like they write some comment and then you respond to it and they vanish, so they don't even hear your response. I have never done that on a stream where somebody was like answering questions because I actually want to see what the rebuttal to my point is or what the answer to my question is. Now, let me see if I can find that other guy's comment. Then don't. But if you can't see how what I'm telling you is right, then you are honestly expletive. to the point of no return. You might need some professional help or something, unless you turn things around since making this video. This person in my comment section was so sure that they knew how to get with the woman, and I was ruined if I didn't do what they said, that they told me to get professional help. And I'm like, well, hell, if you're so brilliant, make your own damn video. Like, step out of the shadows, dust yourself off, turn the camera on, articulate your master plot to get all these people to get with the woman that will like them and want to do all this fairy tale crap. And again, if I was with the woman, I wouldn't be watching videos by people who weren't able to get with one. Huh?
What?
Are you confused?
Yeah.
I was saying if someone is supposedly successful at something or knows how to do something, why would they watch videos from people on that weren't able to do it? If I know how to repair cars, I'm not going to look up a video on how to repair cars.
Fair point. Two people in the chat, and how many people are
No,
here?
3.
3?
Yeah. Some of my siblings and other acquaintances will say I need psychiatric help all because I discuss about relationships or my experience with it really is stupid. Yeah, and like I said, it's ironic too because if romance is like the key to somebody being mentally fit, then why do we have women who kill their children? I did a whole video, it's called Top 10 Worst Mothers of the 2010s, and every woman on that list except for one killed their child. But you're going to tell me that being with someone automatically means you're a stable, well-adjusted man? But like I said, people deify relationships. Always have to glorify them. Internet just seems like it's the place to go to watch people just act so ridiculous for no reason. Like I said, if I have opposition to another person's point, I address what they say. I don't sit around talking about body mass and what personality I think they have from watching a clip of them. I just don't see it as being fruitful. Yeah. Like I said, I talk about politics. I talk about Dragon Ball. Nobody tells me I need to go to the gym or improve my personality or any of this trash. But you talk about this, and you got to get put out to bear the cross for somebody else's decision. Get verbally crucified. My favorite comments were the ones where they would accuse me of being gay because when someone accuses you of being gay for not being able to get with a woman, and then they're talking about like the mass of your face to your chest and how they think your body looks, and it's just so ironic and really amusing. Again, because like you're getting told that you're supposedly a homosexual for not being able to get with a woman, but then the supposedly straight men are doing homoerotic things like analyzing your body and physical appearance, which is something that women are supposed to do to men that they either find attractive or would like to see in certain positions. Like, it's just I think that's hilarious. Just the irony. Well, James, it's about wanting to construct a what's a good way of saying it? An excuse. Oh, this man wasn't able to get with the woman because he secretly liked guys. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why he talked to over 90 of them for 7 years. It all adds up. I mentioned this before. I was on this one it was like one of those self-help websites where like people would volunteer to like talk to somebody about some issue. And this is back when I thought people actually discuss things in logical manners. And there was a woman I was speaking to about like how difficult it was to get a woman to like me back. And she actually said, and I quote, "Maybe you like boys." And I just looked at this comment, and I said some pretty vicious stuff to where she could tell I was offended by that inference, and apologized and all the rest of that. And I said, I'm good. We don't need to speak anymore. If you're dumb enough to draw a conclusion like that, we don't need to interact. Like, your sexuality is hinged on somebody else's decision making. So if a woman would have said yes, which one of them did, the gold digger, you're straight. But if they say no, you're gay. You would never see somebody tell a woman that if she's not with a man, that makes her a lesbian. Like, it doesn't happen. It's all this thing about trying to psychoanalyze the man as hard as you can, and the woman gets off scot-free. She gets the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, if I rejected a woman who people thought was smart and that owned stuff, people would say I was crazy and that she shouldn't care about my turning down of her because I was nothing. They would reinforce her confidence. They wouldn't say, because Justin said no to you, this is the end of the world, and you need to go to the gym and do 1,000 push-ups and 3 miles every week of running. Again, the double standards are just so apparent. I do remember someone said you were secretly gay because you couldn't get with the woman. Yeah, we spoke to over 90 chicks for years as part of this ploy to trick you. So I said the internet can be so. It's like you have thousands of people online, and it's like none of them can address what I say. It literally, out of all the detractors I've had, I can count the number of them who've actually tried to address what I've said on one hand. And even then, they still don't. Like, if I do a stream, right, that's an hour long, they'll take a 2-minute or 1-minute clip of it and they'll go, I disagree with you on this part because blah, 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 blah. Birdbrain was mentioned, like, he responded to me talking about the woman who agreed to marry me and then a few days later reneged. And he was like, oh, you show too much interest, which I thought was the stupidest thing in the world, because how do you measure the amount of interest that somebody's... I just thought it was dumb, and it was, again, more opinion crap that didn't actually mean anything. But I thought it was really funny because I know for a fact that if I were to agree to marry a woman and then get cold feet a few days later, that would be used against me if it were public knowledge. But again, if a woman does it to you, you need to improve yourself and not show so much interest, and got to make sure you don't do it. James, you might not believe, but out of all those comments that have spoken disparagingly about me, I have seen only one that actually tried to address what I said. Out of like all the years of them writing stupid crap, only one. Typical PUA memes of internet. Just get a shower, go to the gym, find a job, just get a social circle. They write the same repetitive crap over and over. I don't know, it just seems like the romance stuff is a never-ending. You get rejected by a woman, you get attacked by other men for getting rejected by a woman, and then you speak to a new woman, she rejects you, men attack. Speak to a new woman, she rejects you, men attack you. Speak to a new woman, she rejects you, men attack you. It just goes on and on, over and over. It's like being a hamster on a wheel. They really think somebody talks to... Well, I mean, hell, if you speak to a woman on a computer, how's she supposed to know what you smell like? That was what I thought was funny about it is the endless cycle. But think about this. With Reddit, for example, right? A lot of women don't actually show their face. They just put their age and their gender, and then they talk about themselves. So hypothetically, if most of the women I spoke to on Reddit, if most of the women I spoke to were on Reddit, which they were, that means the majority didn't even see what I look like. So like all this stuff about analyzing my physical appearance is a waste of time because they, and then it's like, even if you look supposedly attractive to a woman, they don't approach men hardly ever. So even if you did all of these physical improvements, you're not going to now suddenly have these women rushing toward you. Yeah, he repeats the same tired trash as the rest of the crew that's, I guess, above the age of 40. Oh, it is a vicious cycle. It just repeats itself over and over. Like I said, if I knew that it was just me who was getting turned down, it was like some really tiny segment of guys, I might believe a little bit more in that self-improvement stuff. But when I see such a diverse field of men getting the same result, I can't be convinced. That was funny when I was like reading comments on another website where one of the men actually, like, somebody wrote, he this sounds like someone without a father. He needs a mentor. And I'm like, even if you have someone that gives you advice, it still doesn't guarantee you a woman. Like, I don't know where this idea came from. And again, it's like, you need hey, you well-adjusted person that does all of your responsibilities. You need a mentor because random women don't like you. Is the mentor going to make chicks not beg me for money? Is the mentor going to make chicks not cheat on me? Is the mentor going to make chicks who say, "Oh, you're so handsome and smart and funny," actually want to go on a date? I'm just wondering. The mentor who's going to show up and save the day. Who's going to be the Batman to my Robin? Oh my God. I believe it's just that you either have it or you don't. It sounds stupid, but there is no explanation for this. Well, see, with the guy that ended up getting with the dingbat with the baby, I think this is my belief, right? She was never really, she had a couple of guys speak to her, was mostly computer stuff. And then he was the first one in real life to really confess that he liked her in a romantic way. So that made her like latch on to him, and he had never had any girlfriend before, any like serious romantic stuff. So he went out of his way to appeal to her, not really because she was so magnificent and great and as wonderful as people online make women seem to be, but because he thought that if she rejects me or gets upset with me, I can kiss my chance of ever getting with somebody long term goodbye. So that's what caused him to pay for her storage unit for over a year. That's what caused him to still want to be with her after she cheated on him. That's what caused him to still want to be with her after they had a kid they couldn't afford. Just when you create a cycle where the man can only ever hope that one, two, maybe three chicks in their lifetime will actually want to be with them in a romantic relationship, it creates a neediness. And because I thought the same thing when the gold digger, was begging me for stuff. Remember, I broke it off, but I couldn't deduce that being single would be worse than being with the person who is literally the Superman villain parasite in real life, begging you for money every goddamn day. Let me read Megumi's comment. 1 second, let me see this thing. None of these things that they spout out about can guarantee you a date or a woman being interested in you. Bottom line, all this jargon is really stupid, is becoming a cartoon at this point. But like I said, it shouldn't be this difficult to get a date. Because I spoke to my father, I spoke to my grandfather, I spoke to my best friend. Well, he spoke to his dad, and they all say the same thing. none of them got into their, going on mid-20s and only ever were with one woman. They always were with multiple chicks before they found somebody they either got married to or were with for some extended period. Like, it was just a normal thing to, date multiple people until you find someone you like. It wasn't a normal thing to go, hey, I like you. Oh, I don't think I know you well enough to go on a date, but that's the whole point of a date. Like that, this was not a regular thing that people did until they got on the computer and it was 10 guys trying to talk to one chick, and then it became this ridiculous task of, hoping and praying that they would pick you over all the other men. And like I said, when you deify one woman, especially one that these people haven't met, you try to pretend that the worst case scenario has no chance of happening. So let's say 10 years, you finally get this woman who wants to be your girlfriend, and all the rest of this crap. Oh, she's begging you for money. Well, I guess you have to adhere to her demands, because then you're wondering if you're going to get with somebody else. How long is that going to take, if it's even going to happen at all? Oh, you finally got this woman to like you after a decade of trying. Oh, she's cheating on you. Well, I guess you have to take her back. We can't have any self-respect now, can we? My father had multiple chicks. My grandfather, my uncles did, and now my cousin has two. Well, see, that's what I was talking about when you were like, oh, I don't think, because there's a reason all of those past generations were able to get this thing that is evading all of these current men. It was never this difficult in the past. And like I said, if you really have to do 500 push-ups a day just to maybe get somebody to go on a date with you, I don't think it's worth it. No, my favorite one was, oh, what? You're too young to think that this is something that is weird. I'm like, yeah, you're telling that to a person whose dad met their mother when he was 20, and whose grandpa met his grandma when he was 22. So, like, I don't know where this idea came from. You're supposed to, live for 3 decades, and then magic woman shows up who finally likes you. And then even before they met them, they still had multiple partners. Like that guy that had the kid with the dingbat with the baby, never had a girlfriend before her. So every time he was given all that, it wasn't because, oh my God, she's so nice and amazing and we love each other. No, it was because he was worried that if he didn't do everything he could to have her by adhering to all of her ridiculous demands, he would lose her. In the hopes of getting a chick interested in you, in reality, you're going to be competing with tons of guys trying to get their attention ridiculous. Yeah. I know this one chick on Instagram who showed her picture twice, like just her face twice, right? Because she would talk about the news. And she said she had 10 men ask her on dates. And then at one point, she actually agreed to go on one with me if I could fly myself out to her state. I was like, well, hell, you already have almost a dozen guys trying to speak to you. What would make me any more special than them? 20 plus guys compete. But it's like, even if one doesn't have the 20 guys, right? They still have circumstances that are out of your control. I mentioned the one chick that was on Reddit that was writing, like, I want to spank you and all this other nasty stuff to me. And then all of a sudden she stopped, and I thought it was really weird. And it turned out that she had started dating some guy in real life. I had no effect on that because I can't control who she meets in real life. But the fact that she went out and met this man in real life made her unwilling to continue to speak to me in that type of sensual manner. But again, that's what I was talking about when I said that all the advice in the world still does not affect the people around you and the stuff that goes on with them that is not connected to you. I don't think it's that ridiculous because people are trying to find the best of the best, but it's stupid because they end up choosing the wrong one. But if people were really doing that, wouldn't you have 20 women trying to talk to one man? Like if stuff was actually fair, if everybody was trying to find the supposed best of the best, you know damn well there's a whole bunch of men that just want to get with the chick because they think she's hot. Which I mean, again, is like whatever. But when I start getting told that a woman who doesn't have a pot to piss in is of higher quality than me because of the way she looks versus what I own, I think it's ridiculous. I already talked about why that she's out of your league stuff is stupid. That's why I stopped approaching. Yeah. I mean, hell, apparently they're not bothered by me not approaching them. I don't see them on my video getting upset. We're living in a crazy, bizarre, and grotesque time. Previous generations didn't even know what the hell is the actual dating scene. Again, whenever people try to tell you that this is normal, that you need to talk to hundreds of women so that one of them might want to go on a date with you, just remember, all these other men are having the same problem, and these romance groups didn't exist several decades ago for a reason. Every man I speak to over the age of 40 says the same thing. They never got turned down a number of times where they couldn't even remember, and then they like, oh, stumble across this woman and live happily ever after. Didn't take 10 years to go on like maybe 2 dates. I do agree with you to some extent, but knowing just how unbalanced and unfair the circumstances chicks are, I don't really buy into them wanting to try get with the best. Man, like that's another thing that's subjective because like the men that talk trash about me, they don't know me. So like when I see them like saying that women supposedly want these great men, if everything is deduced by the way you look, because sometimes appearance doesn't always mean that someone's a better partner than another person, I'm not really convinced. I just find this whole thing absolutely absurd. Like I sometimes feel like I live in a real world cartoon. Like imagine you just want to go on a date, right? Which again, we have to explain what that is. It's this thing that lasts usually for like an hour or two with someone that you have romantic interest in, and it's for the purpose of getting to know the person, spend time with them, whatever. But it's over and done with, and when it's over, people have the choice to do it again or not speak to each other ever again. You just want one of those, and in exchange, you gotta do 500 push-ups and run 150 miles a year. You're like, what?
How is that possible, though?
But you see where the juice is not worth the squeeze, where you're being told to do extraneous things for something so minor and so little that even if you got it, you'd be like, wow, I did all this just for that. And look, I understand where they're like, just on the self-improvement thing. Let's say I was trying to talk to some woman that was a professional athlete, right? Okay, I can understand where a person like that would be worth, maybe doing more physical stuff for. Or if I'm going to talk to, I don't know, an actor, some actress, right? Okay, you would have to have status or to seemingly be appealing to that. But it's like, these are just random chicks who on average haven't accomplished anything besides having this in between their legs. So like, I don't get where they just by virtue of being the gender that they are require all of this effort. It is a cartoon. Like I don't even see myself as being some great person. Like I'm fine with who I am. But like when people write stuff where they're attacking me in all these little, like really nasty ways just for saying I don't want to speak to chicks anymore. Because if you actually watch the video where I got the most views on the Why Don't Approach Women one, I was actually very cordial and generally respectful in my demeanor. Like, so that it's kind of like it makes them look like villains to attack this person over just having an opinion that differs from their own. That's why it's always funny when they do the character analysis. I'm like, I'd rather be me than be one of the Sinister Six or 60, depending on how many of you there are in the comment section. Like Megumi, doesn't the stuff they write sound villainous? Like, don't when you read the stuff they write, doesn't it seem like an antagonist would write that? Where they're like, Megumi, if you don't get with the woman, you're doomed forever. Like, who does that? Who would say that to somebody they've never met? You're a piece of trash because you're not with the woman. Like, okay. Thanks, I guess. Well, can you relax?
I'm guessing your acting mode is gonna happen every 10 seconds.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what hero, right? What good person? What person of decency would write that to another person never done anything to them? They are perfect in every way because of their gender. The guy said, remember the guy in the like I've been criticized for everything video who said it's your like demeanor that lacks confidence and like know that it's okay that women don't want you or whatever. And I'm like, if it was okay, you guys wouldn't come in my comment section and act like villains if not being with one was okay. Like, if it was okay to not be with the woman, why do people go in my comment section and say I need to go to therapy and the ward and to see a shrink and you need to go to the gym and run 150 miles a year and do 180,000 push-ups a year? Like, what the hell is it? That's actually how much it would be if you did 500 every day over 180,000.
Yeah.
Like, what protagonist would write something like that?
A dumb person?
No, like what good person would write the kind of stuff that they write?
Yeah, never mind. I actually have no idea.
Like, the way people on here act, they make me feel like an angel. Just because, like, there are like I think it's a waste of time for men by and large to talk to women, but again, you don't see me in anybody's comment section going, why are you talking to them? You're a piece of trash because you're doing something I don't agree with. That has no effect on me, but it bothers me so. Clearly, it's not okay to not be with a woman, and they seem to be most concerned about it since they are the ones who say such villainous things to you. I would never tell somebody whether they're with the woman or not that they're mediocre based off of their love life. That would never come out of my mouth because I know that there are men who are with women that were great, and there are men who are with women that are pieces of trash. That's why they're sitting up in jail. So, like, I'll at least give you the nuance, right, of letting you as a person be the reason I say this, but they'll just attack you over, again, somebody else's decision. If I were to describe somebody as mediocre, it would at least be someone I had spoken to or had antagonized me in some way before. But again, if you're a villain, you go after random people. How's that one song go? Make me feel tiny if it makes you feel tall. Hey, James, they don't need to make that Sinister Six movie anymore. It's in my comment section. That's the Sinister Six. When are you going to take accountability for not being with the woman? It's like, what? Oh my God. It's like, you know what I'm talking about too, that if you just look at what they do, right? They get so mad at another man for not talking to women that they'll attack that person and like rag on his personality and appearance, which again is stuff that if they did to a woman would be condemned. I want you to understand that if they actually went to a woman's video and said, like as she's making points about why she's not talking to men anymore, that like you're ugly and that's why you're not with somebody. People would condemn that and say this is toxic, abusive behavior by men, but because it's done to another man, nobody cares. Don't have that magic triangle. So I don't get the gender shield. I even said in the video, there are a bunch of chicks that I've been willing to go on dates with that were different religious beliefs. Some of them lived with their parents. Some of them took care of themselves. I didn't care as long as they didn't beg me for money. I hate that so much. Different political beliefs. Some of them drank, even though I don't do that. Some of them, just whatever. And it's like you accept all these people for who they are, and then you get attacked for who you are online. Like, that's why I had that line in that video. I preach acceptance while being met with intolerance. Like, oh, it's okay for this person to be this way, but if you're the way you are. What did Megumi say? Let me look. This thing's taking a little while to load. I'm just gonna have to bend over. I would say that, but he's right next to me, so I don't want to get that descriptive. But pretty much. And like I said, if people actually, their defense is not to refute the points that are made. Their defense is to disparage the person speaking about these people in the manner that I am. And again, I'm not even, the way I'm speaking about them is based off of who they are as people and the things that they do from a characteristic standpoint, whereas they're talking about physical appearance, which is a subjective thing that, I don't feel that, like, even if they didn't do the weird stuff that they do, I would never make videos on like, this woman was hot and this woman was, because it's not, it's too subjective and nebulous of a concept. People on YouTube, when like with this romance stuff, they act like villains. I'm surprised we don't have more of them that have avatars of like Vader or Voldemort or something. Yeah, the internet's such a you really have to be able to stomach a lot of BS on here, because people will attack you for any and everything just because they can. And like I said, I would be more understanding of their position if their position actually addressed what I was talking about. Like, this is the only topic I've ever seen where somebody makes thought out criticisms about something and the response to go, "You're ugly. You need to change your demeanor, even though I've never met you and therefore wouldn't know what your demeanor actually is." I just think it's weird and it's not productive, and that's why I don't bother engaging with them for the most part. Yeah, I think I pretty much said all I need to say. It's sad. And like I said, the way that people act on here is so cartoonish and so, like, just imagine how inhumane it is for somebody to tell you that you have to do hundreds of push-ups a day for a person you've never met. Like, that's why when that guy wrote that comment by itself, I thought it was a joke. I thought he was pulling, because I had seen that person before, and he while he did always write stuff that didn't have anything to do with what I was talking about, none of it was offensive. So that was like, all right, well, now we know what your true colors are. You've been trying to play a protagonist for a while, but we found out you're a secret antagonist. Oh, don't worry. Well, I give it 2 more streams and they'll be back. They always do that. Try to ambush somebody on the stream and write a bunch of stuff. Like I said, if they don't agree, just go watch somebody else. I'm not the only person that does videos on this. No, the YouTube comment section, it literally is like the new version of a certain type of bar. The current dating scene is a living cartoon, a sort of dystopian, bitter, unpleasant Disneyland. But like I said, romance, just relationships, right? The ones that are not mandatory, like who your parents are, and even then it's not, whatever, but it's like the ones that you don't have to do, like your teachers, people you work for, you're supposed to enjoy them. When you meet a woman and you speak to her, whatever, you're supposed to actually like talking to that person and like the person for who they are and want to spend time with them because being around them makes you feel a certain way. You're not supposed to become the person's piggy bank or do some excess of physical training just so that that person might maybe go on a one night event with you that will be over as quickly as it starts. And they have the option to not do again. So like they've taken relationships, right? Which again, supposed to be something you enjoy, and made them completely miserable for the man. Like in every single way. To where even if you get with someone, you're still miserable because you saw what happened with that guy where he lost all his damn money. Now he has a kid he can't afford. Like all for this. Is it worth it? They took something that you're supposed to like being in, which are these romantic relationships, something that you should enjoy trying to get, and made it a complete nightmare. Oh yeah. Don't worry, I'm waiting for that one. No, I can't believe. I mean, it's like you make someone who's not with somebody else, you try to make them feel like a piece of trash. Then when the person is with the woman sometimes cheats. She sometimes begs for money. She sometimes is really like nagging of that person. Uh, and then you're confused as to why there's a bunch of men that don't even want to bother with it anymore. No, James, I'm not here to like listen, I don't blindly defend people because they have a banana. I don't defend random men and try to make it seem like they weren't susceptible to what they did. What I'm saying to you is that he put himself in that very ridiculous, almost entirely hellish scenario because he didn't want to lose this woman under any circumstance. Because, like I said, I would never allow some broad to make me pay for a storage unit for a year because they got themselves kicked out of their house for running their damn mouth to the wrong person. Wouldn't happen because I actually have self-respect. But like I said, anything to do for the triangle.
How long was this?
Almost an hour and a half.
What?
Yeah.
I thought we've already been here for half an hour.
We did. Now it's an hour and a half. Well, I'm almost done. Relax.
Hungry.
Oh, I warm up the rest of that thing.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
It really is, Megumi, and like I said, your ideal version of a partner, right, is something you can only get if you can only get realistically if you try out multiple different chicks. But if you're not allowed to have options, and it becomes so difficult to just get one person to go on a date, you're susceptible to latch on to that one person who says yes, no matter how crappy they are. Because you've been dragged through the mud for so long that you think if this person doesn't say yes, you can't even foresee when the next one is going to say yes, or if they're going to be any better or any worse. Yeah, that's why this happens. God never had any broad before that or after. And again, that woman was not good. And I've known her much longer than he has, so I can say that with some authority. But it's like like that's why I said relationships are just, if you have a partner that actually treats you well and doesn't beg you for money and doesn't cheat on you, it's fine. But if it's something like that, which these people can't guarantee you won't have happen to you, I don't see the point of jumping through all these hoops for it. That's when you know this stream was good because time just flew by. Yeah, I got really expressive. How do you see the future of dating scene in the Western world? Well, uh, I think you're going to have more violence with like people that are sick of not getting with a woman, because they're like, this is not getting any better. You have too many people that are either ignorant of this or they're trying to justify chicks being as ridiculous as they are. And like I said, men could stop this in 5 seconds. If every man did what I do, which is like, don't talk to them unless they try starting to speak to you, chicks would literally lose their minds. Like they would be like, "Oh my God, speak to me, please." But when they still have all of these options, it doesn't incentivize them to act in a more, decent manner, or more like trying to actually find somebody and give them the time of day that they deserve or that they should have. Yeah, it's worldwide. Like I have chicks that I've tried to date that live in, I'll mention some countries: Trinidad, Australia, the UK, do the exact same thing. I think, yeah, one of them was from Indonesia. So like all of like, as long as people are on the computers and they're able to treat you whatever type of way they want, and they know that they're going to have all these different men barking at them, and a group of men who's going to defend their honor for no reason whatsoever, like the ones that come on my videos act like villains, there's no incentive for them to, for this to not be the case. I did like that line from my video: "It'll be easier to sneeze with my eyes open than get a woman to go on a date." Megumi, do you really think chicks would act the way that they do if nobody tried speaking to them? Like if all the men were just ignoring them, like wouldn't even say a word to them for like a month, just 1 month? Imagine that. Like every time I put up a little picture, nobody thumbs it up, or if people thumb it up, it's other women and no men comment going. I guarantee that no, they go in the comment section acting thirsty. I guarantee if none of them did that for just 30 days, it'll be a completely different scenario. If they got to experience 1/30th of the lack of attention that men have to deal with every year, they would understand, and they would be dying and starving for it. I think, oh yeah, they'd be offended, but again, they would still like try to go after men and be like, "Hey, what's happening? Hello, how you doing? What's up?" A silent war, yeah. I mean, hell, that's what I do. I don't talk to women with boyfriends. I said in the video, why does, if the guy they're with is so good, why do you need to speak to me? If I'm such a piece of trash, right? You saw that video. I showed 2 chicks in less than a month. Oh, I have a boyfriend. All right, bye. The second one that did like the crazy crap, I spoke to her for less than a day after finding out that she was with the guy, the one that acted like a schizophrenic prick. They are too used to being catered to and defended for no apparent reason by other guys who don't know them. Yeah. In a third world country that's still not that bad as America or Europe. All right, well, you can have that view. I haven't been over there, so I can't identify if it's bad or not. Defended for no apparent reason. I think it has something to do with culture then. I don't know. I'm really just, I'm fed up with chicks. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of the men in my comment section that act like villains. but it's like they're not changing anything. Like I have people say, "How will this video help you?" I'm like, "Well, how is attacking me helping you?" Like you're not going to change my mind. You're not going to make all the other men who have this same problem disappear. So what good is it? They really would lose their minds. Yeah, if for just for 1 month they didn't hear from any men. If 1 month it would be just a nightmare version of reality. A silent war. I wouldn't call it a war, but I do think like when people talk about the gender war, men versus women, and then I get it like it's supposed to be a gender war, but I'm getting attacked by other men for speaking supposedly disparagingly about women. So it's not like if these people are supposed to be on my side, why are they attacking me? That's why I said it's not men versus women, it's lies versus people. So if somebody comes to my comment section, they say, "Oh, you need to do these thousands of push-ups." Yeah, those are the lies, and you're the people, and you have to decide whether you're going to believe their BS or not.
There's still 3 people in the chat.
No, there's like 4 or 5 now.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that's the lesson. It's not men versus women; it's lies versus people. And again, at least the people on my side tell the truth, and we don't go around harassing somebody because however they want to talk to chicks or not. We're not villains over here. we aren't getting angry because somebody else that has nothing to do with us doesn't want to talk to some random bras don't give a damn about them no way. We have more important things to do. That's another thing I said, Megumi. If you had a girlfriend or a wife, would you be sitting in the comment section of videos on people who weren't with the woman, like antagonizing them? Because your mission's accomplished, right? You got your happy ending, right? That's why I said people on this website act like villains. They're just laughing and laughing.
Yep. So what?
I was just pointing it out.
Everybody knows, though. But I guess nobody said it in the chat yet.
Yeah. All right, so I'll stream again on Monday, and I'll put some videos up. I'll put a video up tomorrow, and then for the rest of the week. So, thanks for showing up. There were no antagonists today. I guess they're all too busy trying to talk to chicks that don't even like them anyway. Have a good rest of your Saturday.
Bye, guys.